From the gridiron to the diamond, this is more than X's and O's. This is your best Florida sports podcast with CBS 12 News sports director John Evenson and producer extraordinaire Sam Sullivan.
So after a 1 week hiatus, I know the fans were worried, they were nervous, they didn't see me or didn't hear me last week.
How was your trip?
Don't sweat it, don't worry, I'm back.
He was on a beach in week 4.
Not even close, not even close, but I am back, not to worry, and there is a lot for us to talk about in this shortened episode this week.
That's right. Full disclosure, we are taping this on Tuesday because in our newsroom we're getting ready for hurricane coverage starting on Wednesday, wall to wall. I'll be out there. They always send the sports guys out there to do some coverage as well. So that's going to be heavy stuff. We're thinking of all of our great state of Florida right now.
Yes.
We have confidence that everyone will do what we always do in this great state, is just protect each other and make sure that we all get through this. And we'll be on the airwaves helping to navigate you through and show you the places in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that obviously you should not be out and about and getting to, and we'll be there for you and let you know what's going on.
That's right. It's going to be it's crazy to think that Helene obviously just passed through the west part of Florida, northern part of Florida, and now we're dealing with this. So
absolutely,
like you said, just stay safe, and we will be your one to turn to.
This podcast we're doing, we figured we wanted to at least get on and do a short one, although knowing us, it'll probably end up being normal size. We have one camera. All the other cameras are being boxed up and ready to send out for our hurricane coverage right now. So, but we wanted to get on, maybe provide a potential escape for a half an hour or so if you guys want to just think sports for a little while. And as I say that, I'm like, the escape we're providing you is the 2-3 Miami Dolphins. We're going to get into some Panthers and FAU basketball, but I will say one thing. We needed something feel-good to happen, and that Alec Ingold touchdown coming off what was, probably the most impressive drive of the season right there. Emphasis on the running game. Alec Ingold, everyone's favorite fullback, such a nice guy, scoring that touchdown, which was ultimately the winner. That was nice to see. It was.
And it's what was a huge takeaway from this game, as I'm looking at the stats here, 2 Dolphins running backs each over 75 yards. That's what it's going to take.
You know what? And with Devon Achane, unfortunately suffering that early concussion, how great a sign is that the running game was going, albeit it was against the Patriots. But you're right on point with that.
It was huge, Jalen Wright, 13 carries, 86 yards. Mozart, 19 carries for 80. Ingle, of course, the touchdown. I mean, that's when you don't have your star quarterback in there, your run game needs to step up. And I'm glad that the Dolphins really leaned into that in this game.
Especially because everything else looked like a dumpster fire disaster, especially on special teams. In case you blocked it out, there was that blocked punt, surrendered in Dolphins territory. And then this was all in the first half. Long snapper Blake Ferguson's terrible snap. He owned it, though, on the field goal attempt. He stuck around at the end and said, I got to be better. And they almost blew it. It was almost a disaster, too, with that Polk touchdown that was somehow disallowed. You've looked at this I've heard 1,000 angles, Sam.
I have, and I'm definitely in the minority when it comes to what Dolphins fans prefer.
Are you saying that you're not being
I'm not being biased.
Yes.
I'm not being biased.
You just blanked your brain out, and you're going to give, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, here is the unfettered opinion of Sam Sullivan.
That was a touchdown.
Ooh.
That was a touchdown. You think about how receivers have toe tap catches. That was no different. His toes went down first, obviously before the heel touched out of bounds. To me, all you need is the toes. You need 2 feet.
Shut your mouth. Stop trying to ruin this for Dolphin
for
fans.
Us, what's good
it's
for
not
us,
like there's a full picture out there that clearly shows green grass between his tippy. Wait, there is? There is such a picture?
There is.
Oh. Well,
What the final score
Dolphins
shows.
win.
That's right.
Oh, Dolphins win. To all you Yankee fans out there.
Yeah, right.
So whatever. They won. Not everything can go against the Dolphins in one given season, right? It was just the football gods saying, hey, I take this one. You knuckleheads. Get out of here. Get out of here.
And now it's 1 week closer to Tua.
Yes, but Teron Armstead on Monday, he knows the chatter that's going on, and everyone knowing that was an ugly game that they held on and won, but it was a win, and that's what's most important to the Dolphins captain and veteran left tackle Teron Armstead.
Every win is huge. They're hard to get. None of them taken for granted or to be minimized. We had a lot of things that we need to clean up in order to move forward and get more wins, but it's always better to correct, address issues after a win, through a winning environment. Not looking down the road or at the standings either. It's still early. We're not trying to seed or position. We're just trying to focus on what we got going on. So Indy is next. That's it, man. Just lock in on Indy, establish the run game, try to be dominant in the run game, and go get a win.
So, yeah, the good news is it is the bye week, so Devon Achane has an extra week to hopefully get out of the concussion protocol, all the bumps and bruises. Javon Holland broke his hand, though. That's going to keep him out for a while, the star safety. And more good news is the AFC East is rough, tough sledding, as they say. Even the Bills are struggling. And the Jets just fired their head coach.
Yep, Robert Saleh gone. They're 2-3. Dolphins are 2-3. Bills, that tough loss against Houston, they're now 3-2. Of course, we just handed the Patriots their fourth loss, so 1-4. So it is within reach for the Dolphins. Nothing is out of reach for this team, and I think
they beat the Colts, and then Tua comes back against the Cardinals, and we can just start fresh with a 500 record.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's seeing he will be experiencing expert consultation this week, says Mike McDaniel. He is on track to begin practicing in 2 weeks. That's a week to amp up for the Cardinals. He's been nipping at the bud ever since that Buffalo game to come back, I'm sure. So that'll be something to look forward to for Dolphin fans.
And one of the big takeaways I had from what Teron Armstead was talking about, and of course after that win, is, you go into the bye week and it's not, we have nothing to work on because we won a game. I mean, like he said, that was a sloppy game. Tyreek Hill said it was a sloppy game. I think that's a great opportunity for them to have a lot of things to work on and keep their foot on the pedal going through this bye week, getting prepared for the Colts.
A W is motivation. Imagine 2 weeks stewing in a loss coming out of that game.
Yeah.
That game was terrible to watch. You know what? That reminds me. So Luli Ortiz, our great reporter, did not, and the 3 o'clock anchor, of course.
That's
if you watch the CBS 12 News at 3. She was in Boston over the weekend, and I was trying to encourage her to go to the game. And thank goodness she didn't, because Luli's kind of a fan, but I don't think she would have, like a casual fan watching that game. I'd feel really bad for her,
yes.
Unless she got some beer goggles going or something. But she was so cool. You know what? Luli was thinking of us. She was thinking of the podcast, and she got her. She put her reporter skills to the test from a sports perspective, and ran into some Dolphin fans on the streets of Boston, Massachusetts, and pulled off this interview for us.
Where are you guys from?
We're from Miami.
Awesome. Okay, so when did you guys arrive?
Last night.
Last night. Okay, so tell me, are you excited?
The Dolphins. Super excited. Super excited. Hope it's going to be a good win for us. We're looking for a bounce back.
And sure enough, they did, and I see a future in sports reporting for Luli Ortiz there. That was some hardline questioning, but she also kept it fun, as only Luli can.
She might have a chair here.
Yeah,
one day.
We got to get Luli here. She's not going to put up with these hard stools, though.
No.
She'll need something more.
Nice cushion, love seat.
She deserves it. I mean, she's like a real anchor. We're just like schlubs doing a podcast.
We're throwaways.
Hey, listen. You know who deserves a big cushy seat? Although they'll be doing more skating these days. I think I gave it away there.
I think I know who.
The skating. The Florida Panthers. The season is back. This is Tuesday, right? Where we're taping this on Tuesday. So they are playing tonight. Those in the future know the result of the Boston Bruins-Panthers game, but the banner raising, so special. And I had the chance last night. What was sad, Sam, was that it was supposed to be a public party at the arena for the players to get their rings, their championship rings, and they had to cancel that because of the incoming hurricane. So it was kind of sad that the fans didn't get to be there to experience that, but us in the media were lucky enough to be invited to the private ceremony that they had at the War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale. I did not expect it to be so cool.
Yeah.
It was so cool. They gave everyone these red boxes with the rings in them. Very formal. We were up sort of, what was cool about it is like we were up in the I guess you could call it like the balcony, like overlooking where they were all sitting at like dinner table kind of things, and there was like a black tie affair, a red tie affair actually.
Right.
And they forgot that we were there. Like they're not thinking there's people above looking at us. So we got to see genuine reaction when they opened that box. Ed Turrentine, our camera guy, got some great shots of like Matthew Tkachuk and some of the other players, their faces. You'll see it in the package that we're going to throw to eventually of them opening. The ring is incredible. Did you see this ring?
I did. Special.
What did you think? I mean, that's crazy.
That's the only way South Florida hockey can do it. You do it big. I mean, yeah, it was beautiful. It was really nice to see.
Yeah, the way it was described, there must have been like 1,000 diamonds on there. Diamond encrusted, is that the word?
That's the word.
Encrusted. And the only thing I've ever had encrusted is like my breakfast cereal was encrusted
or
with
like a nice pizza.
What is the stuffed crust?
Stuffed crust.
Stuffed crust pizza.
Or an Uncrustable.
We're totally off
topic.
We
are.
You're getting me. Okay, now we're talking Pizza Hut. Okay, no, this was different. What was I saying? Oh, I was describing it. So the ring had on the side, it had all the teams that they beat in the playoffs with a line through them.
Nice.
You know, like Matthew Tkachuk specifically like that. Of course, the Panthers logo on there. I think there was a map of Florida with like Broward County, like read it out. I think they should have read it out Palm Beach County too, because there's so many Panthers fans.
Huge fan base. Yeah. We belong.
You were down there with me for some of that Ranger series.
I was.
You felt how excited this place.
Oh,
this
electric.
Area.
Yeah. People try to knock South Florida. You're going to play hockey in hot weather like South Florida, but no, I mean, that environment was one of one. It was intense.
And now they're looking for back-to-back Stanley Cups. Let's throw to the sound. We were able to interview Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett after they had just received their rings. They're still kind of giddy. I'm telling you, it was real emotion. So this package here starts with Sam Bennett, and then I talked to Matthew Tkachuk towards the end.
I was just like, I couldn't believe how big it was and how shiny. It's unbelievable. In that video, just recapping how amazing of a run and year in playoffs that was. So, just in awe, really.
I've heard so many players say when you win one cup, it just you get even hungrier to win another. Can you picture that being true? That it kind of like even more obsessed with winning another cup after you've won one?
Absolutely. I mean, Verhaeghe brought his other ring here, and 2 rings looks pretty cool on your hand. So I'd love to fill up my hand a little more.
I love the line through each team that we played against. Like we just finished them off there with the 4-1 and 4-2, 4-2, 4-3 next to it. So I thought that was super cool. Just everything about this means so much to me and the rest of my teammates.
How motivating is it to experience this all together the night before the first game?
Yeah, it's great, because it's a great way to remember last year and reflect and enjoy each other and enjoy this, like still seeing the cup and everything and hugging it and, putting my hand on it so that I can get a picture of the ring on it. It's everything has been awesome. And I love how we did it, right before the season, because it's a great reminder of what could potentially happen at the end of the day. So now wake up tomorrow, it's a new year, but we're going to enjoy this tonight with the guys and the families and everything, and wear this loud and proud tonight because we deserved it.
And that's the best way to put it. They definitely do deserve it. I mean, they could have had that series in 4 against Edmonton, but it goes all the way to 7 at home. I mean, you were at that game.
It was so cool to experience what everyone's going to be talking about for generations and generations, like the Florida Panthers. I still think about it, like throughout the summer. I was like, it would occur to me, like the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. It's so surreal, and they had so much fun this summer, bringing the Stanley Cup around South Florida and around the world. So of course they want another one. Of course they want back-to-back. Fun story. I was with my family up in the Keys. We just randomly went out to this restaurant called Lorelei. You may have heard of it if you've ever been up to what area is that in? Island Moretta. And we just showed up, and all of a sudden my wife and my kids, they're motioning me to come fast, and I'm like, well, we don't need to eat that fast. Like, what's the urgency here? And I run towards the restaurant, and they're like, it's only here for 10 more minutes. And the Stanley Cup is there. And Carter Verhaeghe is there. And they pulled up on a boat with the cup. And there's like maybe 20, like less. Like, so just whoever happened to be eating their lunch was there. So it was almost like a personal sort of intimate moment with the cup where my family got to take pictures with it. And we watched it take off on the boat with Verhaeghe. He was one of the trainers who was there. It was his day. And it was just, so I think a lot of people in South Florida experienced that type of situation. So it really does feel like it was a communal thing. Everyone got to and now there's so many more hockey fans than ever before. So this season, good luck getting a ticket. Season tickets are sold out.
Yeah, forget it.
And I don't want to comment on what happened on Tuesday night in the Bruins game because we don't know yet personally because we're taping this on Tuesday. But no matter what happens, the Panthers are returning 8 of 9 of their starters. There were some, Brandon Montour, they lost him, Ekman Larson.
They lost Ryan Lomberg, Tarasenko as well. So they lost some pieces.
Those are some big, especially playoff pieces there.
Yes, huge playoff pieces. But that core is still there. And it's enough, more than enough, to go back and win back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Heck yeah, because you remember on deadline day, that's when you pick up guys.
For sure.
You can still pick up guys like that.
Yes.
A lot of those really gritty playoff pieces that you need to fill in. And so they'll be trying some new things throughout the regular season, but for the most part, when you see somebody win a Stanley Cup, they forever know how to win a Stanley Cup, and that's why they're still dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
But speaking of losing all those pieces, FAU basketball. I know you got into that the past 2 years with them, that Final Four run, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of this new team? Have you gotten to check them out at all?
I've gotten to check out how many players that they've lost. Vlad, Giancarlo Rosado, Elijah Martin, John L. Davis. I mean, huge pieces.
You're going to make me cry.
Only 2 returning players
Yes.
from last year's team.
Yeah.
But they've got a great head coach in John Jakus leading them. This season.
I'm telling you, I'm a believer. I went out there actually just before the Panthers ring ceremony. Trey Carroll is literally. I mean, there's 3 returning players overall, maybe 5, 3 or 5. 3 or 5, okay? But the only recognizable one who we saw play during those 2 years that were so fantastic with the NCAA tournaments was Trey Carroll. And it's so crazy. You just see him out there and then the same uniform and, in the gym that we love that gets so crazy when there's great games there, but it's just all new faces. It's like if you watch like Survivor or Big Brother or something like that. Like you get used to this whole season of these characters that you love, and then you're watching episode 1 of the next season, and it's a completely different cast.
It's all gone.
Like that's what it feels
like.
It's
like a spinoff.
Yeah, with FAU basketball, it's exactly what it is. But Jakus has, through the transfer portal, has recruited a perfect mix, like almost 50-50 of U.S. guys and international players. So what's your take on where that might take the FAU basketball team? 2 different mentalities of basketball combining together. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think that's going to be able to help the team blend very well coming into the season. Of course, coming from two completely different places. And it's not like all the U.S. players are from the same state and all the international players are from the same country. You know, it gives them a great opportunity to really intertwine, mix with each other, and build great chemistry with a new head coach coming into the season.
So I want to talk about some of these individual players coming back, but I do want to throw to my one-on-one interview with head coach John Jakus. I also spoke to Trey Carroll, as I mentioned him already. He was in a bad place when everyone was leaving. He told me it felt like a whirlwind. Like all of his buddies, all of his teammates who they went through so much together just left, and he was the only guy left on this island. And he said, I just had to get away for a few weeks and figure out what I was going to do. But John Jakus has had some faith in Trey Carroll, and Carroll and him both said that his game has been taken to a whole new level, a new confidence level, a new skill level. So I would not be surprised if Trey Carroll is a big part of continuing to move FAU basketball forward. But here's my one-on-one with Coach Jakus. We are here with FAU basketball coach John Jakus. This is exciting times. The guys are back here. You can tell, I can already see the personality here. This has been a big job, creating this 2024 team. But I can tell by your smile that you're happy with the end result to the beginning result, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, if the end result's the locker room, I think we won.
Yeah.
The end result of winning games, we haven't played one yet. Yeah. But as far as getting guys here, we're thrilled.
What is it, I asked you this in the press conference, but what are you the most excited about with this team? It's hard to really know what a feel of a team's going to be like and the quote-unquote what the culture's going to be, but what do you foresee based on who you've assembled here?
I mean, I just think the camaraderie of bringing 6 internationals with 6 to 8 Americans and then combining them together, the style of play, the speed of the American game, and then the reads and the understanding of the ball screen of the international game, I think we're going to be fun to watch. And then the way these guys love each other and they've kind of come together, it's as fun or unified a locker room as I've ever been around. And to say that this early on with that many transfers is something we're really proud of.
How has that happened so quickly, do you think? How have they so quickly?
I think some of it is just our background checks and making sure we recruit good kids. Most of them come from a high school coach or an agency or somebody we know overseas or somebody we know personally that's recommended them. So as far as knowing who they are before they got here, I just think we did our work early and then most of it came true, so we're blessed.
I'm really fascinated by this Euroball phenomenon because, we watched the U.S. Olympic team in some tough battles there along the way. So they've experienced some scares, and we've seen that a lot over the past few years.
Yeah.
And I know the maybe the mentality and the physical, like just the way they go about preparing in Europe or even just planning a game is a little bit different. So what do you think the combination of the two mindsets might bring here?
I mean, I think at this point the NBA is 40% international. The way their player developed in their pro system without getting paid from freshman year to high school is pretty unique. And then their understanding of the game and its concepts and the 24-second shot clock and quicker choices and how you play together, especially the ball movement, I think it's just really special. And, they've also been coached in such a way where they're not the boss, and probably the first time they've been recruited is when we recruit them. So their whole life they've been told what they need to get better at, not how great they are. And I think there's something about that growth that's important.
And clearly when there's such almost a 50-50 divide on a team between those two mindsets, they rub off on each other, these kids, right?
Yeah. I would say they rub off on each other for sure. And we've needed both, we'll need both. And we don't pick one side. To us, it's about building the team together. And then just, I've learned from Mark Few and Scott Drew that really good coaches learn to adjust to who they have. Yeah. And so that's what we're doing. We're adjusting to who they are, but trying to let them be themselves in the middle of that.
How difficult do you think this has been on Trey Carroll and the three, I guess there's 3 altogether players that are still here, and everything around them is completely different, but they've got to focus on not only themselves, but a whole new team, a whole new head coach.
Yeah.
How have they handled that? How has Trey handled that?
I think Trey, Dev, Jakel, and Jack, to me, the first thing I would do is just say thank you that they stayed. Especially in today's culture with all the transferring, I'm really grateful for that. And as far as how Trey has handled it, I think he handles it the way he handles most of his life, with a smile. Mm-hmm. And he's there's people who are glass half empty and glass half full. He's glass half full, so he's given us a great opportunity to take care of him, love him, get him better at what he's doing, and I think he's really growing player development-wise.
What do you think the biggest challenge will be? You mentioned in the press conference that there's a lot of people going through this with like almost all new teams, or at least the core is completely different. What are the challenges that maybe you haven't experienced as a coach yet that you'll have to navigate your way through early in the season when there's a brand new team here and all the high expectations?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't lose a lot of players at Gonzaga or Baylor. There wasn't a lot of turnover, but now it's new in a sense where you're trying to think about the future, but you really just got to focus 1 year at a time.
Yeah.
And if you get ahead of yourself or you assume, you're going to make mistakes. And that's probably the healthiest way to live anyway. Like if we win today, then we move on to the next day, and then we've got our goals and process that we've got to tick off as we go. But we just take it a day at a time and know that this team is probably unique, and then next year's team will probably be unique, and there won't be as much carryover as you've had in the past. But
so it sounds like you're not feeling any pressure, because you would think that there'd be a little bit of pressure with all the like even with the players, knowing like how this campus has gotten used to having Final Four team and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But how do you sort of manage that and make it so it's not such a heavy lift?
There's two things that can happen. We could have gotten a job as a staff from somebody who wasn't very good at their job, or we could have gotten a job from a staff that was pretty good and had sold out crowds and the people really care. And to me, you choose jobs based on who cares.
Yeah.
And you don't leave Gonzaga and Baylor unless you're going to a place where people love basketball. And this place loves basketball.
That's for
and
sure.
so I'd rather live under that than I would coaching in an empty gym. And I waited for a good one. I feel like this is a good one.
We can't wait. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I feel good about head coach John Jakus. He gives me good vibes, and I feel like he's assembled. This is may not be an overnight success story here. That would be a tough ask, but based on the positivity down there and just the vibe I'm feeling, they really do seem like they're a close-knit bunch already.
Yeah, and something that he mentioned, people down there, they love basketball, and he is 100% right. They will never be coaching or playing games in an empty gym. I mean, despite all the turnover, all the new faces.
Those days are over. The people got the fever.
Yeah, they're on board with the FAU Owls.
And we'll miss Vladdy. One guy you didn't mention, the big guy, Vladimir Golden. I hope I get this guy's name right. We'll learn his name, I'm sure. Matas Vokitatis is the center. You saw him in the footage there. He is, you couldn't miss him, 7 feet tall, from Lithuania. They searched the world over for this guy, and they think that this guy could be an awesome big man.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit. Of course, losing Golden, but it's you take one plug out, you put another plug in. I think that's going to be really huge for this team, and I think he's going to be used very well. He's going to be able to really dish out the ball to a lot of these playmakers, of course, grab a lot of rebounds, and it's going to be big.
So we got to pull the plug. We got to pull the plug on this particular podcast. We threatened to go short this week just to give you a little taste, but I think we probably ended up going. This is our longest podcast yet. Congratulations.
Yeah, right. I doubt
Episode what? What
5.
5. Okay, he's going to keep count.
I'm going to keep count.
I just blank it out of my head. You're my counter. You're like my banker. You're my accountant. On how many episodes.
Let me actually get your bank account information when we're done with this.
Oh, you're not getting far with that. Yeah, don't worry about it. We will. We'll exchange bank numbers after the show.
Yeah.
But for now, everyone stay safe out there.
Yes.
No matter when you're listening to this, I hope we will. I know we will get through this safe, and we'll keep you informed on CBS 12 News. Sam, you'll be in the booth for 12-hour shifts at a time.
That's
so good luck with that.
Thank you very much. You'll be out there 12 hours at a time on the field. So we will have you covered. And of course, like you mentioned, please stay safe. Evacuate if you are in a mandatory evacuation zone. Don't feel the need to stay there and hunker down if you don't need to. Well said. Well said. Well, until next time, we'll be out of this bye week soon. Fins up, go Cats, and eventually go Owls. Thanks for joining us.
Best Florida Sports Podcast drops every Thursday morning. Listen on your favorite platform or watch on YouTube.